Well, hello everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'm happy to be here and hanging out with you. Before this video gets rolling, I need to shout out a gigantic thank you to two people. The first one that I want to shout out is Tracy at Travel Crochet, who has been shouting out small channels in her videos each week, and I was just over the moon that she chose mine. And when she was rolling the footage of the people that are participating in Crochet Roulette, she really hyped up my channel and she just really made me feel great about the work that I'm doing. So thank you so much, Tracy. And I have seen my subscriber number jump up a little bit since your shout out. The second person that I want to shout out is EG from Crocheting with EG, and I really hope you check him out too, because he is seconds away from getting 1,000 subscribers. And the other day he wrote a community post to thank everyone that had been encouraging him along the way, which gave me the opportunity to go ahead and subscribe to all of the channels that he listed and all of the creators that are supporting him. So if you do not know about those two creators, I really encourage you to check them out. And once again, thank you so much. I mean it. What is going to follow in this video is I have a little clip from last week of what I was working on, and because I do like to talk about goal completion, I managed to do 3 out of my 4 goals, and I will explain later why I didn't get to that 4th one. So let's get started. Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Hope your headspace is good. I am hopping in on a Friday afternoon. It is the start of Labor Day weekend. I have a market tomorrow, and it's pretty exciting because when I applied for this market, it did not occur to me that it was Labor Day weekend and in a town that has a giant festival Labor Day weekend. So I think this market is going to be so much better than I anticipated. And for that reason, I am hopping on now to show you the progress that I have made towards my goals since last Sunday. I've done 3 out of the 4 things that I said I was going to do, so let me just go ahead and jump in and tell you about those things. The first one is participating in #Crochet Roulette 2025. And if you don't know about that, there are 10 creators that I can tag in the description for this video that spin 2 roulette wheels. One is a color, the other one is an object, and then everybody participating in the challenge makes something based on those 2 wheel spins. This was the first time, and what came up was variegated Australian animal. Yeah, I had to check that twice, like, whoa, but like, variegated Australian animal. So my, like, the brain starts churning and I'm like, okay, kangaroo. For some reason my brain went to dodo bird, because are those even Australian? Are they colorful? I don't know, but finally I thought I was cheating a little bit because I have some gray yarn that variegates kind of slowly, but I thought it would make a good koala. And here he is. That help to see how big he is, a pad of sticky notes. So this was a great pattern to participate in a challenge like this. I'm gonna say he was not the market friendliest thing I've ever made. You see there are some like color changes in the legs and in the hands. There was a lot of sewing, so it starts like any 2-legged creature would. It starts with making 1 leg and then the second leg and joining, and then going up the body. I made the arms separately, as well as the head gets sewn onto the body. I did these embroidered eyes because I knew I was going to have to make this nose, and I would have to stuff the head before putting on the nose, and I just wasn't sure what size eyes to use. And a koala, like I've got some of those moon eyes that I can either paint or drop the glitter discs in. It just did not give koala. So I went ahead and embroidered them, and I'm really happy with the result. But like I was saying, it involved all these pieces, and then his shorts I sewed on. They don't, he's not going to be naked. and then the hat, and then you sew the ears onto the hat, but you also have to make sure like you catch the head a little bit too, so like they don't just like wobble around. I should have remembered to put like one of those hair curling rods and given him a spine because his head is a little bit jiggly, but having the arms right here definitely helped. This was a free pattern on Ribbler from an author called Chloe Plushies, and I highly recommend. For a free pattern, it was great. I think I sewed his head on backwards. I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be like his backside, and because he's got like no booty at all. He's very flat in the back. But definitely very cute, and I hope he moves tomorrow. Second thing on the list that I had to get done this week, or that I said I would get done, were to use up all of my googly eyes, which I did, and I now have a bag full of these Yip Yip chapstick holders, and I just ended up using the same thin rainbow yarn, just sat down and cranked out a whole bunch of them, so I'm really pleased with these. These are a quick little, I think at this event tomorrow, I think 10 is going to be a good price. And I tried to do contrasting colors with the eyes and the yarn because the yarn does change colors. But then I got this monochromatic one too if you want to be authentic with your yip 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 yip. Actually, I think one of them was orange. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of these. Let me see how many of them get sold tomorrow. I will be sad if it's 9. All right. So third thing on the list was to work on a pattern that I am drafting, and I'm going to show it to you because I want you to comment with what you think it is. And I'm not very far, so I will be very, very, very impressed if you know what this is. And it's not a flamingo, but this is how far I got. I didn't stuff it yet. I'm going to use some fur yarn next, and some eyeballs and some eyelashes are my next steps. So I will be so impressed if you are able to figure this out. So I think I'm gonna go ahead at this point and continue getting myself organized, putting some last minute price tags on things, getting my car in good order. Now, because of this street festival going on tomorrow, the market doesn't start until 12. But my load-in time is between 7:45 and 8. All vendors have to arrive before 9 a.m. because the streets are going to close. And I'm going to have a lot of time tomorrow to sit back and wait for the market to open. So I'm not terribly concerned with like a mock setup, but I'm plenty to work on. I'm going to take my time setting up beautifully.
Immediately. I love that. Thank you.
Back late Monday afternoon, and this is why. Because Saturday morning, before my market, I woke up to this side of my face swelling like somebody had punched me. And I was like, oh no, I'm still going. I'm gonna look terrible, but I'm still going. And I was a little bit itchy, so I packed some anti-itch cream and went about my day. It was probably not the smartest thing to be outside. It wasn't the hottest day ever, but it was certainly hot enough to maybe not be the kindest thing to my skin to be out in the elements all day. So when I woke up yesterday, the other side of my face was also swelling, and I was just itchy and blisters head to toe. And I am much better now, thank you. I'm gonna be okay, but I was in no place to be filming yesterday, and I also looked like I had been punched in the face twice. But the swelling went down, the allergy medicine is working, and I am ready to tell you all about the market and how much I made and my goals for next week. So speaking of goals, now is a really good time to pause the video and to comment with what your goals are for the first week of September, or if you happen to catch this video months from now, go ahead and still comment. And then when you are a couple days later, when you have met those goals, comment again, and hopefully I'll be able to shout you out in my next video and congratulate you on getting your work done. So, like I said a little while ago, the setup time for this market was, for me, like, because it was staggered. I had to be there to unload. My unloading time was 7:45 to 8, and and then again, like, all cars had to be out of the way by 9 because there was a parade and the streets were closed. So, as you know, my setup went pretty well. I am noticing, like, because I did the L shape, I didn't bring a third table because I knew I wasn't going to be able to pull my car right up. So I was like, let me try to bring like fewer things. And kind of regret that now, because if I had my third 4-foot table, I would have been able to do a U and have had the bags more in front, because I definitely sold way more plush toys. Even though I did sell 2 bags, I did not sell any keychains, zipper pulls, backpack buddies, whatever you want to call them. And I think just because people didn't see them when they were walking by, they were too far back. So that is something I'm definitely going to consider for my market coming up this weekend, to have the third table in the U shape and to put some colorful items really in the front so people see them and then they walk in. So lesson learned. I did not sell a single one of those chapstick holders that I was so excited about bringing. So my first sale, because the parade started at 9, it was a short parade, because my first sale was at 9:29, and at that point the parade was over. Like, I was far enough away to not see it, but close enough so I could hear it. And I think there were like 4 marching bands and like a rescue crew, and that might have been the whole parade. But at 9:29, I sold a duck and an octo. Had another sale at 10 o'clock. That was one of my splitting llamas. And then at 10:21, I had a leggy frog on clearance for $5. So that was even like $25, and it was still an hour and a half before the market was even supposed to start. So I'm gonna go kind of fast. I sold an octo, a mermaid, an owl, my strawberry bag, and also this very large granny square bag that I have had forever. It finally moved. It was the first time I had ever put my crochet under the sewing machine to put on a lining. It's not perfect, but I think you'd have to really know what you were doing to, you know, I don't know, if you don't sew, you probably wouldn't be able to notice. I'm wrong. I did sell a Pop-Tart keychain for $10. That might have, but yeah. Sold another clearance leggy frog, actually to the same little girl who lost hers and then came back to buy another one. Sold another splitting llama, and I sold a strawberry charm. I was wrong about not selling any of the zipper pulls, backpack buddies, keychains, whatever you want to call them. I sold this bear, this loaf bear that I've had forever, and it was also in my $5 clearance basket. I didn't love it. I thought he looked like an alarm clock, like it was like a loaf, and then it had ears and feet, and it just looked like an alarm clock. I'm glad he's gone. I also sold this whale that I've had forever and ever and ever, and it, like, I look at it now and I'm almost kind of like embarrassed by the first few markets that I had done, because I did not know how to stuff things properly, and that whale was so understuffed and it just didn't move. It had a brother that went months ago, and this one whale had just been sitting around forever. I sold a bandana, finally. I've had these scrunchies, and I did sell a couple headbands at my last market, but that was the first bandana that I sold to a lady who was hot and needed to tie her hair back. I sold another octo and a little tiny, it's not really like a loaf cap because it goes this way, like this is where your magic ring is, and then it goes down and you do your little feet at the bottom. Sold one of those guys. I finally sold this llama that I made over Thanksgiving break last year. and it was also kind of understuffed, but she was also very beautiful and baby safe, and I had knocked the price way down to $35, but she is gone. I actually sold 4 llamas yesterday. I have none. You just can't predict. Another llama, and then my mochi axolotl sold, my boba sold, along with the milkshake. I had made the milkshake and the boba for my last market. They are both now gone, so I'm going to make some more. One gentleman bought a cow, something, oh my gosh, I've had that cow forever. A crab that I've had for a while, and I think it was my orange turtle that he bought, and then that was pretty much my last square sale. It was at 3:07 in the afternoon. The last hour and a half of that market was pretty dead. There was a ton of foot traffic in the morning after the parade, and the bulk of my sales happened even before the market was ever even set to start. And then those hours between 12 and 5 really weren't that great, so it was pretty lucky to get there early. Did talk to my neighbor on the right who has done this market pretty regularly, and she did say that today was like the first time she actually felt like she was having a successful market. It does run monthly, and for $75 vendor fee, with the festival happening, the fee was the same as normal. I don't know if I'm gonna do it again unless there is a festival involved. Just hearing that feedback from the neighbor that typically says she doesn't really do that well. But I did at the last minute sell a snake that I had in my clearance bin for $5. If anything great happened on Saturday is that my clearance bin got very cleared out. There's not a lot left in there. I just had stuff that either I didn't like or I've had it too long, selling for $5. I know I had a puppy in there. I must have forgotten to write that down, but he went too. So, numbers total. I sold 26 items. That's pretty good. Cash, $58. Square, $288, which is a total of $346 in sales, which sounds really good. But then minus the $75 fee, that takes it down to $271, and subtracting $9.89 in square fees, my total profit comes to $261.11. Of course, that does not include materials, but as you know, I do thrift. A lot of my materials, the costs are quite small, and I do just tend to work with the yarn that I get when I buy up people's stashes. So, not bad, not great, but it was fun. There weren't really a whole lot of memorable customers, no terrible moments, no really exciting moments, except maybe when the lady bought my strawberry bag and the granny square bag. That was an $85 sale, and for a lot of the day I was hoping to get another big item, and that last hour I was so hopeful that somebody was going to come and buy $100 worth of stuff. It didn't happen. I had a $5 sale that last hour, but not bad. I am not that stressed to have another market coming up this Sunday. I mean, I did sell 26 items, and I have a plan to complete for next week. Here are my goals. So again, if you didn't pause and comment the last time, go ahead and pause, comment your goals for this week. And while you're at it, while you're pausing, if you could also hit that subscribe button and get weekly videos from me, that would make me so happy. If you are enjoying this content, please do so. So here are my plans between now, Monday afternoon, and Saturday evening, because my market is next Sunday. I want to do 5, I'm just calling them bobas, but it could be a milkshake or a matcha latte or an iced coffee, but essentially 5 cups with straws, and then in different colors to represent different people's favorite cold drinks or frozen treats. I want to make 5 mochi axolotls because they're easy, and I only have one. I don't know if I would have sold more if I had more than one, but a lot of kids did pick them up and comment on them. I want to make 5, maybe like this size octos. I use the Sweet Softies pattern, but I think I'm gonna give it longer tentacles. Like that pattern just has not bobbles, but you know, like 8 little feet. And I think I can make it more octo looking. I will work on that this week. I want to make 2 splitting llamas, and I am going to hope to make this week 5 bandanas. And I know I've had 3 bandanas for a while and I didn't move one until yesterday, but this is a music festival at a brewery, and I think it's going to be more of an adult crowd. So I do want to have some more adult items. I have plenty of bags because so few have been moving throughout the summer, but if people get hot, I already have some scrunchies and I have some headbands, but maybe some people will want to tie their hair back when they're there. I am also hoping, well, I asked when, because I was at this event, or I was at this brewery at a not so great event 2 weeks ago. It was a school supply drive and it was just really hot and people were inside and just like not coming outside, and there were only 4 vendors. But I did make friends with the manager, who connected me with their promotions team and invited me back to this music festival on September 7th. And he did tell me that it's the first time doing it, but it's a family-friendly event. So, because that was really my question, like, are there going to be kids there? So what should I have? And I do well, guys, teach anything, at a family-friendly event when there is drinking, I do really well, because when the kids give mom and dad the eyes, the parents are much quicker to whip out the wallet. I noticed yesterday pretty frequently that the kids were giving mom and dad the eyes, and mom and dad going, no, didn't you say that you wanted to go ride some rides? And pretty much like showing restraint, and I'm not going to buy this for you. And I did get a lot of "we'll come back later," and I know that that was the parents' way of hoping that the kids would forget and that they weren't spending money on another toy for their kid. I get it. But if there's going to be drinking and it's a music festival and it's kid friendly, I want to have plushies for the kids and also some bags and bandanas and things for the adults. So that wraps it up for this week. I hope you have a really productive week. Life-wise, it's okay. I found out earlier that the one of the 2 job interviews that I had this past week, one did not pan out, and that was the interview that I actually kind of felt good about. So haven't heard yet about the other one where I had an interview. It's so hard to tell on Zoom interviews because I couldn't even see the people that were interviewing me because it was a panel of people sitting around a table, and the way their camera was set up, I couldn't see them. So I have absolutely no way to read their body language. I have absolutely no idea how I did, but I have turned in a good number of applications for jobs that closed on Friday. So think good thoughts, guys, because I did not think it was going to take me this long to find another job, but I don't want to end on a negative note. Headspace is good. Got to keep going. And I have you guys, just the community that I have built the last couple of weeks has really been amazing. Oh, I know what I was gonna also need to do this week is for Crochet Roulette this week. The 2 spins are brown farm animal. And everybody that has said anything on YouTube, they were like, oh, that actually makes sense. And so that is on my list of makes for this week coming up. So I got a lot to do. Maybe it's a good thing that I don't have a 9 to 5 yet. So y'all have a great one. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing and I will stop asking, and see you on the next one. Bye.